Let's talk about Tim Henson for a second. Based on an interview that I saw on Shred Talk's YouTube show, I ended up discovering this through a blog, and this touched on something that I think a lot of people wonder about Tim Henson, question about Tim Henson, and some people actually hate Tim Henson for. That, of course, being his appearance, how he identifies himself, what he looks like, what he wears, his makeup, his clothes, his hair, his very feminine-leaning androgynous appearance. I want to go over the main thing that kind of led to me making this video, and then I'm going to give my own outlook on it, because I was kind of taken aback by some of the things that he said in this interview, with some of it kind of hitting close to home, which I'll get into. In response to a discussion on the Dragon Force Guitarist Shred Talk YouTube show about the perception of what a metal musician is supposed to look like in comparison to Henson, and the sentiment that Henson is not macho enough for metal, the guitarist describes some of the comments that have been made about him, sharing, "I definitely get a lot of really nasty comments. I see shit like, oh, there goes the transgender skeleton again, and like, this guy is cross-dressing, whatever the fuck else. All of the most homophobic, weird, transphobic shit. The insults usually followed backhanded compliments," Henson said, explaining it's like, yeah, this guy can play, but he spends more time on his makeup than he does this. Whatever, I'm kind of used to it at this point. Henson went on to explain that he views appearance as a strong tool for self-expression, explaining that if a person can detach themselves from what people say or think about them, then they're free to do whatever they want. He concluded, "And I encourage all those people who have to comment something negative about the way somebody else looks to look inward and maybe think like, hey, are you expressing yourself as much as you want to? And if not, maybe try it sometime because it feels good, and maybe you won't feel the need to shit on somebody else for expressing themselves because it's getting closeted." I actually made a video not too long ago about if metal has a look, and if so, what exactly is the look for metal? What is the standard for metal? Because when you try to categorize any group into a little microcosm and make them out to be the same exact thing and just homogenous, you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're going to have so much bias towards that specific group of appearance that you have made up in your mind and entangled this idea of what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to represent. And Tim Henson has dealt with a lot of hatred, a lot of weird comments and hatefulness towards him solely for his appearance, and people putting that above his music and being intolerable, or like he said, making these backhanded compliments in the same breath. And I've dealt with that a lot in this niche and community too, and I think that's why it kind of hit close to home and took me aback a little bit. I've dealt with a lot of weird comments. I'd fucking be rich if I had a penny every time someone said like, oh, tranny or faggot or troon or some weird slur that they literally don't even know what I am. Literally no one does. I have not gone on record on this channel saying anything about that. And unfortunately, appearance does mean a lot in terms of how people value you, and people put the way that they perceive you above the talents that you may have, what you have to say, and you are immediately degraded or put to a lower standard. And I think that's happened a lot with Tim Henson. As for what Tim Henson is, or what he identifies himself as, he has gone on record numerous times just saying that he is just a guy. He is a dude. He is a man. He is a cisgender man that happens to like fashion in another way, happens to use makeup, and is secure enough in his masculinity to not give a fuck what people think, and he wears and does whatever, and he's still a badass for playing the music that he does. And it doesn't change the way that he performs. It doesn't change how he is able to shred on a guitar, or the complex things that he's able to cook up, or how technical he is, or how proficient and efficient he is with his playing techniques, and the innovation and revolutionary type of riff stylings that he has patterned his entire thing in Polyphia after. I'd like to say we're at a point where you can recognize someone as a person prior to making your judgments of their appearance or making your accusations about their appearance, but this Tim Henson thing kind of made me think about it, and it made me think about it in context of me. And it's like, God forbid I paint my nails black once and it's fucking World War III in my comment section. And it's just misguided, misrepresented souls that have a lot of weird education issues and are oblivious, if not ignorant, to the facts of what actually causes people to do what they do, and they like to put people in little boxes. And I think the fact that Tim Henson expresses himself freely and goes against the grain of that and doesn't really have to categorize himself or put a label on it, because I think this society loves putting labels on things. I think it's awesome that he's just who the fuck he is, and he has this very unique appearance and unique style to him that's instantly easily recognizable, and he stands out of the crowd and he sticks out like a sore thumb, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Metal, much like any other niche or community, has built up a repertoire of thinking that things are supposed to fit into little snug boxes, and if you don't fit into that snug box, you are immediately outcast or seen as different. And of course, this isn't everyone, and I would like to give the benefit of the doubt, just based on my own experiences, that metalheads are very accepting, understanding, tolerant of just about anyone, because I think you are being hypocritical if you say that not everyone is allowed in metal, or that something places you as like subhuman in anyone's eyes, because by virtue of doing that, you are literally going against what metal and the metal community has stood for in the beginning, just from its roots and all of its subgenres. And that's why this channel, I refer to you guys as like the review family, because I think the metal community is an overarching family, and putting anyone down for the way that they look or talk or how they identify or how they present themselves, whatever it may be, whatever thing you want to do, their religion, where they're from, their background, I think you are actively undermining the very reason that metal drew people in the first place. And the reason that Tim Henson inspired me to make this video is I think he goes against a lot of those natural conventions that people have made up in their heads over the decades in terms of what a metalhead or a rock listener, specifically a metalhead, are. But what are your guys' opinions of this, Tim Henson, and just this video as a whole? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.